Hello, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be doing phishing emails 3. So we've already done phishing emails 1 and 2, so 3 is obviously next. So remember from phishing room 1, we covered how to manually sift through email raw source code to extract the information. So in this room, we will just look around at various tools that will help us in analyzing phishing emails, such as look at the tools will aid us in examining email header information, cover techniques to obtain hyperlinks in emails, look at the tools that give us information about potentially malicious links, cover techniques to obtain malicious attachments from phishing emails, and use malware sandboxes to detonate the attachments to understand further what the attachment was designed to do. We did something similar to that in phishing emails too. Um, so task 2 here, in this task we will outline the steps performed when analyzing a suspicious or malicious email. Below is a checklist of the pertinent information an analyst is to collect from the email header. Right, a familiar concept should be by now at least. So sender email address, sender IP, reverse lookup on the sender IP address, email subject line, recipient email address, and reply to email address if any, and of course date and time. Below there is a checklist of the artifacts an analyst needs to collect from the email body, such as any URL links, the name of the attachment, and the hash value of the attachment, such as an MD5 sum, a SHA-256 sum. We did that in phishing emails too before. And we'll probably get into Virustotal in this room. I don't think we did Virustotal in the previous room, but for sure we will discuss it in this one. So, without further ado, email header analysis. Some of the pertinent information that we need to collect that can be obtained visually from an email client or web client, such as Gmail or Yahoo. But some of the information, such as the sender's IP address and reply to information, can only be obtained via the email header. So, first up to bat is a tool from Google that can assist us with analyzing email headers called Message Header from the Google Admin Toolbox. Per the website, Message Header analyzes SMTP, right? We should know what SMTP is. Message headers, which help identify the root cause of delivery delays. You can detect misconfigured service and mail routing problems. Sorry. So here we go. Message header. This is a screenshot on how it looks like. So we can see here message ID created at, this is a timestamp from Biden Care Insurance, but then again, the email address goes to support@techbeat.com. To a subject, an SPS pass, DKIM pass, DMARC pass, and we do have IP addresses over there over SMTP. Very nice little tool here. Another tool is called Message Header Analyzer. And this is how it would look like. We may get to use one of these tools later down the line. I'm not sure which one, but we'll do one just for demonstration's sake. So what do we have here? A text box where you can paste the message header you would like to analyze, and it will give you a summary, the received headers, so on and so forth. Does give you here the protocol, HTTPS or SMTP, all good stuff. And lastly, there's another resource here that they use is mailheader.org. Pretty cool tool. Again, this one looks it has that 90s vibe on it, but I think it's super helpful. I don't know. I personally like this tool a little bit better. I have no idea why. I can't give you any particular reason why. It's just, to me, the way everything's sorted out and ordered. To me, it just makes makes a little bit more sense. I don't know, not like the other two tools showed before. It didn't make any sense. But anyway, even though not covered in the previous phishing rooms, an MTA, a message transfer agent, is software that transfer emails between sender and recipient. Okay. Uh, Two links to further read on MTAs. Um, the tools below can help you analyze information about the sender's IP address. So we do see here mail server from 181 to 14 to 53 to 28. Mail server from IP, same exact IP. So what would you do with an IP address, right? So you have a tool here called Ipinfo.io, and we'll just go to this link right here. Search any IP addresses or AS number. Boom. So you would insert the IP address over there, and you will get a little bit of information on that particular IP. We also have another tool called the URL scan.io. And by the way, feel free to bookmark any of these resources by all means. URL scan.io, and you can see some of the recent scans done by other users. Some of them from Google, Rain Platform.w Telecom.es. I'm assuming that's Spain if my geography helps me. What do we have? Another Google link. Okay. So, URL scan.io is a free service to scan and analyze websites. When a URL is submitted to URL scan.io, an automated process will browse to the URL like a regular user and record the activity that this page navigation creates. Alrighty, so if this is a tool that may be of interest to you, by all means, please feel free to bookmark that page. So this is going to be our first example where we'll get our first flag. So in URL scan.io, we did have a suspicious URL that we put in, Capite, TAI, 1.com. Sounds kind of familiar if you're, you know, uh, somewhere familiar with the credit card industry, you know that this was intended to be capital1.com, right? So you can see here a report, a summary, right? This IP contacted 5 IPs in 2 countries across 5 domains to perform 14 HTTP transactions. And they give you here the main IP that is located in Kansas, United States. Scanned 61 times. So uh, an address that keeps popping up and being scanned by multiple users, you can pretty much guarantee that there's something fishy about it, pun intended, right? So notice that the URL scan.io provides a screenshot of the URL. The screenshot is provided so you don't have to navigate to the URL in question explicitly. Probably you don't want to do that, right? You can use other tools that provide the same functionality and more, such as URL to PNG and Wanna Browser. Below, we have the Talus Reputation Center, and this is how it would look like. So basically, you would paste in the URL right here, and it will give you the domain reputation overview. Um, Web reputation, unknown. Content category, no established content categories. This should ring the alarm bells, basically, right? So, first flag, answer the question below. What is the official site name of the bank that Capite1.com tries to resample? And that would be Capital1.com. So, we're moving on to the body of the email. And I did take a sneak peek, and yes, we'll be talking about Virustotal, which you should also bookmark. So, This is where the malicious payload may be delivered to the recipient either as a link or as an attachment. So once again, this is the email body, guys. Email body, right? Links can be extracted manually either directly from an HTML formatted email or by swifting through the raw email header. Below is an example of obtaining a link manually from an email by right-clicking the link and choosing Copy Link Location. Here's the picture for that. We can do the same thing with another tool called URL Extractor. You can copy and paste the raw header into the text box, such as this. You have multiple options to choose from on the left hand side. Again, if this is a website that piques your interest and you want to explore more, by all means bookmark it and revisit it later. The extracted URLs are visible in step 3. So apparently we did extract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 URLs over there. And you can also use CyberChef to extract URLs with the extract URL recipe, right? So you would insert the text, the email body over there, and you will put in the extract URL option, and it will extract all the URLs for you. And then if you want to, you can defang them, right, and further analyze it. It is important to note the root domain for the extracted URLs. So in our case would be devred.xyz. Very important to note for later on. You will need to perform an analysis on the root domain as well. After extracting the URLs, the next step is to check the reputation of the URL and root domain. You can use any of the tools mentioned in the previous task to aid you in this. If the email has an attachment, you'll need to obtain the attachment safely. Accomplishing this is easy in Thunderbird by using the Save button. So Thunderbird is your mail client for Linux. After you obtain the attachment, you can then get its hash. You can check the file's reputation with the hash to see if it's a known malicious document. So, for example, you have here double jackpot slots Las Vegas ... right? These are all spaces right here. That's why it shows up like that. And then you get the SHA-256 hash. So what would you do with this hash? Well, you would go into the Talus file reputation, right? Not only that, but you will also go into Virustotal. So quick overview of Talos file reputation. Maintains a reputation disposition of billions of files. The reputation system is fed into the AMP firepower, CLA, AV, and open source Snort product lines. Maybe we'll talk about Snort some other day. The tool below allows you to do casual lookups against the Talos file reputation system. The system limits you to one lookup at a time and is limited to only hash matching. So the hash you put in, if it has it in their system, it would tell you what it is. The lookup does not reflect the full capabilities of the advanced malware protection system. So you will put in your hash here, and bam, you're hit with this super scary malicious icon, right? Score not available. Detection aliases HTML malicious PDF gen. Other malware, virus, PDF Fisher, PDF agent, Trojan, fake agent, auth agent, Trojan agent, so on and so forth. And you get all this information with the hash up here. Another cool resource, which definitely this is not an option in my opinion. You should definitely have this bookmarked as well, or always refer to it. Virustotal. It analyzes suspicious files and URLs, so you can paste in your hash, such as in this picture, and it would give you a result such as this picture right here. And what's really cool about this is that the super popular vendors of antivirus security, spyware, so on and so forth, such as Avast, Avira, Dr. Web, F-Secure, G-Data, Kaspersky, McAfee, Microsoft, um, super popular vendors. And you can see how many of these vendors flag this file as being malicious. And this is another tool to, compare your antivirus or any type of other tool that you're using to protect yourself against malware and to see how efficient they are against malware. So as you can see here, it's pretty disappointing to see that only 23 out of 62 vendors flag this as malicious. So for example, this only tells you which ones, in this particular picture, it shows you which ones did record it as malicious. But for example, if you have any other type of antivirus and it's not on the list, you could probably be hit with the malware and your system is just gonna gloss over like it's nothing, right? You can test this out on your system as well. And yeah, you'd be surprised of the stuff that you can find. Another tool company worth mentioning is Reversing Labs, which is also a file reputation system. Can you manually get the location? How can you manually get the location of a hyperlink? Well, you just copy link location, right? So moving on to test number 5, and we'll be talking about a malware sandbox. So luckily, as defenders, we don't need to have malware analysis skills to dissect and reverse engineer a malicious attachment to understand the malware better. There are online tools and services where malicious files can be uploaded and analyzed to better understand what the malware was programmed to do. These services are known as malware sandboxes. So you have here a really cool platform which we did run into in the last phishing email room, and this is called AnyRun right here. If you guys remember, we'll probably get a better picture, but hopefully you guys remember from the other room that we did get to analyze an attachment with this tool. So another tool available for you is Hybrid Analysis. This is a free malware analysis service for the community that detects and analyzes unknown threats using a unique hybrid analysis technology. And then you have another tool called Joe's Security. Pretty much same thing, a little bit more advanced. Uh, all of this, I'm pretty sure that hybrid analysis and Joe Security do have some type of payment involved. I know that AnyRun, you can do a lot of the stuff free. Moving on to task number 6, Phish Tool, a tool that will help with automated phishing analysis is Phish Tools. So what is Phish Tool? Basically, it would be used by a SOC analyst to respond to a reported phishing or threat intelligence or something like that, dealing with email-borne fraud. Phish Tool combines threat intelligence, OSINT, email metadata, and battle-tested auto-analysis pathways into one powerful phishing response platform, making you and your organization a formidable adversary. Oh my god, this sounds like an infomercial. There's a free community edition you can download and use. So if you're interested, sounds something that you'd be curious to learn about, by all means, go ahead and download the free version of Phish Tool. So, does it say here, I uploaded a malicious email to Phish Tool and connected Virustotal to my account using my community edition API key. Below are a few screenshots of the malicious email and the Phish Tool interface, so please pay attention. This is the screenshot right here. So what do we have here? We have a bank payment slip confirmation, date from Oscar Esquit at gruporolosa.com. A bunch of people CC'd into it. Timestamp reply to not present also. Return path OES quit at gruporolosa.com. A note on originating a IP, blah blah blah, is not clearly specified in the email headers. Originating IP, they do give you 186.151.194.83, and they give you the reverse DNA at corio.gruporolosa.com. So now that we've seen this, from the image above, you can see Fishtool conveniently grabs all the pertinent information we'll need regarding this email. So email sender, recipient, a boat ton of people in the CC section, timestamp and originating AP, and reverse DNS lookup. So we can obtain information about the SMTP relays, specific X header information and IP information. So you go here in this little picture here, received from, received by, and you get here all the details concerning this particular hop. Notice that the tool notifies us to that reply to not present, although it provides the alternative header information, return path. To the right of the fish tool dashboard, we can see the email body. Okay, so let's take a look at the email body. So, good morning, we sent payment twice as an attached transfer request. However, both payments were declined in our system. We have the bank information that appears on the invoice. However, the bank name is different. Please confirm and fill in the correct banking information in the attached transfer request so we can send the payment as soon as possible. Best regards, sales manager Sophia Wu, and she gives you all kinds of details. And she's from Fujian province in China. Oh, you can see the HTML source code as well. Let's see, do we have anything of interest here? No, not really, right? Do you guys see anything? I don't see anything of interest, to be honest with you. Moving on, the bottom two panels will display information about attachments and URL. The right pane will show any URLs found in the email. In this case, no emails were found, and I don't see any. The left pane will show information about the attachment. The particular malicious email has a zip file. So what do you know? File name electronic underscore wire enq blah 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 confirmation.zip. Virustotal 39 vendors out of 64 recognized this as being malware, looks like, unfortunately. We can automatically get feedback from Virustotal since our community edition API is connected, which is super awesome. Here we can grab the file name and its hashes without manually interacting with the malicious email. There's an ellipsis at the far right of the above image. If that is clicked, we are provided with additional actions that we can perform with the attachment. So if you look here at the strings value, right? Flag as malicious, flag the signature, and file the name. So this helps out the community to identify malicious threats such as these. And it's very important to flag them when you got them because it helps prevent spam and it prevents from helping other people from getting phished, right? Let's look at the strings output. Hint, hint, we'll be using this as a flag a little bit later. So you look at the strings here, and the first line of code here is hashtag 454326 underscore PDF.exe, right? You think it's a PDF, but it's an executable file. Now look at the information from Virustotal. So you can see here that's the hash. 39 out of 64 vendors, as I have before mentioned, flagged this file as malicious. And let's see, malicious, Trojan generic, RDN generic, Trojan. So yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, you are being scammed, right? Since the Virustotal API key is the free community edition, an analyst can manually navigate to Virustotal and do a file hash search to view more information about this attachment. Okay, so you would flag these as I would mention before. The attachment file name and file hashes will be marked as malicious. Now click to resolve. In the next screen, an analyst can mark the email based on drop-down selections. Refer to the GIF below. So this is not necessarily of interest. Note, I did perform further analysis on the domain name or the IP address. Hence the reason by the additional flag artifacts and classroom classification. Sorry, oh my god. Codes weren't selected for this malicious email. So let's look at our question here. Look at the strings output. What is the name of the exe file? So as I have mentioned before, this would be your flag right here. And looks like we are ready to move on to phishing case number 1, right? So let's start our machine. And we're given a scenario. Let's see if we can actually do it within a browser so I don't have to start up my own VM. Yeah, let's start the attack box and see what happens. So we're given a scenario here. 1 second. Okay, so finally the VM finished loading up. So let's go to phishing case 1. Scenario 1. You are a level 1 SOC analyst. Several suspicious emails have been forwarded to you from your other coworkers. You must obtain details from each email for your team to implement the appropriate rules to prevent colleagues from receiving additional spam or phishing emails. Use the tools discussed throughout this room to help you analyze the email header and email body. All right, so let's see what can we come up with. So let me maximize this so y'all can see. What you want to do here, as soon as you open the VM in the attack box in the browser, you have your phishing email case 1 there. So there's 2 methods you can go about. I personally like both. Number 1, you can go inside the terminal and cat out fish3case1.eml, and you will get a lot of the raw data here, which we'll go through individually. I know it kind of looks awful, but it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to go through the nitty gritty, or I'll go inside the terminal as well. The other version that's a little bit easier to do, but then again, it's not going to give you all the flags, is to simply just Thunderbird the email. Go to the desktop and then Thunderbird fish3 case 1 email, and then you will be greeted with this. So let's go to our flags. You can see here the email that it came from Netflix, but it's a totally different email here. That your account is on hold. We had this before on phishing emails too. So let's see what some of these flags were. So what brand was this email tailored to impersonate? Well, obviously that was Netflix. Well, you can't see it right now, but you just saw it before. What is the email address? So the email address is this guy right here. If you can see it, this entire thing, right? What is the originating IP? So with this, we'll have to go to the catted out version of the email, and we can see the originating IP, X originating IP right here, 209.85.167.226. So in order to defang this, you go to CyberChef as I previously showed you in emails 2 and defang it. From what you can gather, what do you think will be a domain of interest? Well, if you can look, just again, super easy, super simple, right here at the return path, you see postmaster at etechno.xyz. So how would you define etechno.xyz? Is just the brackets around the dot there, makes it completely harmless, right? And what is the shortened URL for that? Oh, did it jam? Nope. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one. So scenario number 2, you are a level 1 SOC analyst. Several suspicious emails have been forwarded to you from other coworkers. You must obtain details from each email from your team to implement the appropriate rules to prevent colleagues from receiving additional spam phishing emails. Okay, so they do have a link for us to investigate. So let's go down to that link. And what do we have here? We have Netflix again. Check out the new Acrobat DC. Okay. Update payment. Then you will click on update payment. There is a web page that is kind of small to see. Okay. That is an error. 403, that is an error. URL JQDMJ. Okay, that's very important to know. And contact customer service. And that is pretty much it. Let's see the test report. So what we have, the file name here, payment update.pdf, very important to note. Suspicious activity, again, very important to note. You have here the MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256 files, which that's your flag over there. Suspicious activity, payment update id.pdf. And what are the 2 IP addresses that are classified as malicious, and identify them, of course, and defang the IP addresses. So for this, we're gonna go down into the test report. So what do we have to? Yeah, a few process IDs that are suspicious. What else do we have here? EXIF, screenshots, processes, suspicious 1. The behavior graph, registry activity, 44,000 events. That is crazy. Okay. Executable file 1. Acrobat, iExplorer. Okay. Network activity. Was there a question that asked us potentially bad traffic? Okay. So let's see where we find this. Well, of course, network activities, HTTP requests, connections, malicious right here. So this is one of the IP addresses. 216.107 blah blah blah, right? On port 443. And what are we looking for? The other one, well, that would be the same one, right? Okay, let's keep scrolling down. This is suspicious, but it's not malicious. Potentially bad traffic. Okay, what was the question? Which Windows process? Okay. That would be great if it was there, but it's not. um, Give me a sec here. 216, 107, 83? Where is that little guy at? Oh yeah, duh. That was it. It wasn't the same. That was my bad. It's not the same. So these two were your flags right here, 1 and 2. Sorry, it's been a long day. Been a very long day. So yeah, did I fail to show where is it? Oh, I was reading something about Eternal Blue. Let's see, where was that file at? Threats 1, potentially bad traffic, and there it is. Potentially bad traffic right there, and the process name is svc host.exe, the infamous, right? So that was your other flag right there. Boom. Now let's go to phishing case number 3. Last but not least, okay, so you are a level 1 SOC analyst. Several suspicious emails have been forwarded to you from other co-workers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's get this link here. And we have some gibberish. Okay, let's see, what are we supposed to be answering? What is this analysis classified as? What is the name of the Excel file? SHA-256. Domains listed as malicious, IP addresses that are malicious, and what vulnerability does this malicious attachment attempt to exploit? So you go right here, test report, nice and easy. You can also go like screenshot by screenshot in order to see the entire attack. So we assume that this is an Excel, right? Because it does show Excel opening up. Okay, so this is an MS-DOS subsystem message. Blah, blah, blah. CPU has encountered an illegal instruction. And you're prompted to choose close. Okay. So regasms.exe. Okay. The user played around with the columns for whatever reason. Page layout. Okay. I remember seeing this in the other room and phishing emails too. And they clicked on translate language. And that's pretty much it. So we click on threats here. Network Trojan and potentially bad traffic. EQNEDT32.exe. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to see the test report. Really? Oh, okay. So, the file name that you're asked, this would be your flag right here. It is a malicious activity. Tags for this file is a Trojan exploit, and the CVE number for you is 2017-11882. I believe that's pretty much close to most of our flags. The SHA-256 is right here. What else do we have? Domains listed as malicious and IP addresses. So why don't we just inspect the rest of this test report. Static information. Okay. EXIF. Screenshots. Malicious processes 1. This would be your malicious process right there. 1914 registry activity. Executable. Text files 5. Network activity. So these are your IP addresses right here. Malicious. So the way you defang malicious IPs is pretty much the same way you defang URLs. Instead of defang URL, you put in let's move this window this way. You put in defang IP addresses, right? So you put this guy here, and then I have those things opened in. Okay, so you would get, for example, this. Let's do this first one here. You would copy this guy. Go into my VM. Paste. Well, no, it didn't work out because I have to do it in a clipboard. Nope, delete this and paste that. Copy that. Paste this guy here. Let's go full screen. And this is how a defanged IP address would look like, right? Same concept as defanging URLs. It's just a bracket there in between the dots. So it makes it completely harmless, right? So that was pretty much it, guys. I do believe that was pretty much it. We did have the domains, biz9holdings.com, find results site, and ww38. Those were your last ones, I believe. Yep. And you have to defang those as well, just like I have showed you previously. So that is pretty much it for Phishing Emails 3. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. So for that, you will go to this malicious link right here. I know it's gonna sound bad, but you have to click on it and then simply copy this, close it, and you're gonna defang the URL with CyberChef, and this is going to be your flag right here. So remember, drag and drop defang URL, paste the text right here, and this is going to be your flag. So that is pretty much phishing, well, the phishing case 2.